G'day everyone, Mitch Kuhl from Panocon again here with one of your virtual field day videos. Standing in front of one of our Panocon trials. So we've done a sorghum row configuration versus precision planting air seeder trial here with some HGS 114 sown on the 20th of December last year. So the reason for this trial we wanted to look at, past couple of years we've done a fair bit of narrow row work with the air seeder with sorghum and come up with some pretty impressive results compared to a few other configurations sown around the district, and we always seem to be hitting that little bit better yield with the narrow rows, and obviously sown at the same plant population. And we thought, well, let's put this in a little side-by-side trial and get some replicated data off it and see how we go. So we've got a single skip precision planter versus a single skip air seeder, and that was the other thing we wanted to look at as well. We've got a few guys using air seeders rather than precision with their sorghum, just because they own that gear and not having to get a contractor in. So we wanted to look at that as well, and sort of compare that in this trial. So starting off here, we've got our precision planter single skip. So we can see we've got quite a nice even plant stand here, and when you look along the row itself, we've got quite an even sort of plant spacing. So it's done a really good job there in terms of the planting population. And then we move across into our air seeder run with the single skip, and it's very variable, as you can see. So in terms of the single skip through an air seeder, we can sort of see we can't really get that evenness like we've got on the precision. So a couple of things to note with this configuration itself, like the single skip, which is another trial in itself. We want to compare the moisture on top of the soil. So we've got we can see here we've got a lot of evapotranspiration that's happened in the bare soil compared to over in the narrow row, which I'll show you in a sec. So another thing to note about this, about the air seeder single skip, we can see it's a fair bit behind the precision. So obviously we've got a lot more gaps. Plants that sort of till it a bit harder where they're where there's no competition, and they've a fair bit behind. So we'll move across into the narrow row spacing. So thing to note here, they're both sown at the same plants a hectare. So we've gone about 2.5 kilos to the hectare. So this is 114 again, sown on the same date, and this is the narrow row spacing. So we're on 10-inch here with the air seeder, and if you can look down at the soil, we can see that just the moisture difference between that last configuration there. So we're getting a lot of shading here and a lot of less evapotranspiration. We've obviously had a lot of rain here as well, but we can sort of see here that we're really happy with this narrow row spacing here. And when you compare it to the single skip, I think you're sacrificing a fair bit of yield there. So once we chuck the header in here, we should have some pretty good results. The other thing to note is that in the dry times, this is obviously this crop's had quite a wet time, like wet finish. So in our dry times, we've found this configuration on the narrow rows to be quite successful in that harder time as well. So we're seeing at both ends of the spectrum here, from what we've seen in the previous years with the drought, and now with a bit of moisture on here, we're going to pick up some good data. So we've also done a same variety here, but we wanted to look at a cover crop option with sorghum. So an example being a farmer had a bit of leftover sorghum in the silo, and thought, well, let's bang it in as a cover crop and just get a bit of cover on the country to see what it does, and will it give us sufficient cover to get us through to the next crop. So the start, we lacked a lot of vigor here early on, and sort of not really the right option for a cover crop, because it hasn't given us the cover we wanted compared to a normal hybrid, which we thought would happen, but we just wanted to trial it as well and showcase it. So just lacks that hybrid vigor as we thought we'd know, and we just put it in here for a look and to sort of answer the question. So probably a no-go for us, because just not enough ground cover there as a cover crop. Now we moved into a second time of sow with the narrow rows. So this is sown a month later than the last, so 20th of January on the narrow rows. So we can see here, even we sowed it into that pretty soft conditions. Like, we've had a fair bit of rain since sowing this, and this is just really punched away. So we're going to get some good time of sow data out of this and row configuration data out of this, and then we'll move back into the next one, which is just a side by side of the time of sow on the narrow rows. So you can see the difference there. The month that was made. So a fair bit of bird damage in the earlier sown stuff, which is a lot of cockatoos about. So it's been hard to manage, but we'll pick up some great data out of this, and we'll present it all to our growers. So that's the sorghum trial. So we've got a couple of management things to talk about with the crop we've done here. So we're just going to zoom in and have a look at the insects here. So we've got a lot of predators kicking about in here. So we've got some lady beetles self-isolating in there quite well, as you can see, and we've got a fair few spiders and stuff. We've done 2 Viper sprays over the sorghum, and we're just probably going to look out for a bit of midge now. Now it's come pretty late, so that's one thing we'll look out, particularly for that late time of sow there. 2 Viper sprays during those soft conditions have really done a really good job. So that's our pest management on the crop. Weed management, it's just been your standard dual gold atrazine, and in crop we went with Star Rain and topped up the atrazine.